So let's start creating our card section, and here I'm going to have a comment for the card section, so I'm just saying card section, and then end of card section. And now in between these lines I'm going to start my code. I'm going to have a section ID, and the ID is food. Now I'm going to have a div, and I'm not passing any kind of class here. I have a h2, assigning it a class, title text, and this would be food fusion. I know it's not meaningful, but let it be. And then I'm going to have a division. I'm assigning it a class, and this would be food container. And now here, before starting, I just want to have a comment here. I'm saying article and end of article. Okay, end of article. Let's see, start writing code here between these comment lines. And the first article I'm assigning it a class name, and the class name would be food card. And within this food card I want to have an image. The source for this image would be images, and I have an image with the class name and class food img, and I do have a alternative text. I'm not going to write here, but you guys should. It will be helpful in SU. Div, I'm assigning it a class, and here the class is image img text. Within this div I'm going to have a heading 1, and this heading would be breakfast. I have another division. I'm assigning it a class, and this class is image footer. And within this I would like to go with a div, assigning it a class, and this class would be footer icon. And within this footer icon, let me bring it here in the middle of the screen. Here I'm going to have a font awesome icon, so I'm having a class FESFE and $sign, and then I want to have a 25 here. And then after this division I would like to have another division. I'm assigning it a class, and this class name is footer btn, footer button. Here I'm going to use a button element, and the type of this would be button, and the class would be food btn. And now here I'm just going to say order now. when our first article is ready, now I need to copy this and I'm going to paste it. So I'm going to copying it from here and pasting it. I've pasted it for a couple of times. Now I'm just going to change the images. First of all, the image I want to change. In place of this glass, I would like to go with burger, and then here the title would be, heading would be lunch, and this number will be 35 for me. And then in the third one here, I want to have another image, and here it would be dinner, and the amount would be 45. And what next? Okay, we have done with the markup. Let's move on to the browser and see what's going on. And here we have a massive image. Oops. Yeah, very massive image. Not one, the 3 images that covers all the screen. So let's go to the CSS and style them. Here, first of all, let me write cards. I'm not going with the longest details. And here, end of cards. And now between these commented lines, I'm going to write a style code. First of all, I would like to go with the food tag ID, and food ID here I want to say this section would have a 20 pixels of padding. And now I want to have a food container class, and the maximum width for this would be 90 view width, and margin 0 auto, 0 from top and bottom, auto from left and right. Then I want to go with the food card class, and here the position, here the position would be relative, and background I want to have a linear gradient, and now with the RGBA, and this would be 205, 96, 0, and 0.7. And again I'm going to copy the same values. I'm pasting it here. Okay, now I want to have a margin here, would be 20 pixels from top and bottom, 0 from left and right. Color would be black here. Overflow hidden. Padding would be 3 pixels. Border radius 16 pixels. And border would be 1 pixel solid orange. And I want to have a box shadow and this box shadow would be 2 pixels, 3 pixels, 1 pixel, and 1 pixel, and the color would be C, D, and 6100. Let me bring it in the middle of the screen. Now I'm going to target that food IMG. Okay, so what I'm targeting here, let me tell you. The image, this image, okay, I'm targeting, let me show you from this side. This is the food ID and I'm targeting from this section, this image, okay. And for this I have used this food and image, IMG. And now here I want to set the image would be, width would be 100%, and minimum height, min height, this would also be 100%. And now I want to display for this, not display, display block. I want to have a transition here. This would be transform 4 seconds. Now I want to use IMG text class, and here I'm saying the position of this text class would be absolute. Where top would be 50% and left would be 50%, and transform, translate, and here I want it to be minus 50%, comma, and then minus 50%. And now here then I want to have a text alignment, text align, and text align would be center. Let me bring it in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to have a opacity, and the opacity would be 0. And for the transition, again I'm going to have an opacity of 0. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have to go with the opacity of 0. I have an opacity of 4 seconds. Sorry for this. And now I'm going to have a IMG footer section. Let me bring it here. Okay, and here within the footer section we would like to go with the display. It would be flags and justify content. It would be space between, and width would be 100%, and then I want to go with the position. It would be absolute, not an. Absolute. And I'm going with the left would be 0. Bottom would be 0. Padding would be 10 pixels. And font size 20 pixels. Again, I want to have some opacity here. would be 0, and color I would like to go with the black one. Again, would like to have a transition here, and this transition would be, it would have a opacity of 4 seconds. And now let's save it and see that what's going on in the browser. Okay. And it's working well, but we have to do some more work to make it better. And now I would like to go with the image text here, img text, img and text, and the text is a heading one actually, and it is a class h1. Okay, font size would be 30 pixels, and margin bottom 10 pixels, and now I would like to go with the image with the food card, class of food card, and food card hover actually, and then I have to go with the image. And there is some problem here, I mistook somewhere. Yep, here. Now it is food card image hover. I'm going to have some hover effect, food card hover and image, and now I'm going to have a opacity, not here, I'm so sorry, opacity would be 0.4, and transform, I used to have a scale here, 1.3. Let me bring it in the middle. Now let's move on with the food card image img text, food card hover and image text hover and image text, and let me have another class here which would be food card hover, and then it would be a image footer. Here the opacity would be 1, and now I want to have a food BDN, and let's display this inline block, and the background for this would be black. Text decoration none. And now I would like to go with the text transform. Capitalize. And the padding here would be 12 pixels, 32 pixels, 12 from top and bottom, 32 from left and right. And then color would be white, FFF, and font weight bold. And I want to have some border radius of my button, so border radius 180 pixels. And I would like to go with the cursor pointer. Margin top 16 pixels. Let me bring it here. Let's go with the transition. It would be all from, and from all sides it would be all, and all would be transited with 0.3 seconds, what I've done here, and ease in out. And then font size, I want to go with 18 pixels. And outline would be none. Let's save it. Move on to the browser. We have a button here, but if you guys noticed this font awesome icon, it's very small. So let's move on and work with this font awesome icon. First of all, I want to have some, let me show you here again. When I hover over the button, it is not doing any sort of, it hasn't any kind of effect. So I want to have an hover effect to this button. So let's move on, and first of all, let's have a hover effect. And for this, I'm having a food BDN class, and I'm saying that on hover, the color would be orange, and the background should be white. Okay, and the border for this, let's check, border would be black, and there would be no outline. Let's save it and see. Okay, so now when we hover over it, we can see the difference. Now let's go and start working on this font awesome icon button. Not button, actually font awesome icon. And this FAS, and here I'm going to have a font size. This font size would be 30 pixels, and let's see. Okay, so now the size is different than before. Now it is 30 pixels. Okay, let's move on and have some media queries. For this, I'm going to have an at media screen, and min width would be 576 pixels, and I'm going to have a food container class here, and this food container class would be display. I'm using a grid properties of CSS, so it would be a grid, and the grid template columns would be repeat 2 and 1 fraction, and then I want to have a grid column gap. This would be 16 pixels. Let's save it. And let's go for the bigger screen, and this would be add media screen, and min width would be 992 pixels. And here again I'm going to copy and paste all these things here, and here in this repeat I'm just going to have a 3. Let's save it. So now let's move on and check that what we have done so far. And here we go. So this is what we have done, the card section, and it is responsive. And you guys can see that it is responsive on mobile devices. Okay guys, so let's move on and start working on our navigation bar. We didn't have a navigation bar, so here we had the command already. Now let's start writing the code for that, and for this I am going to have a division first. I'm assigning it ID, and the ID would be menu, and within this menu I want to have a class of menu also. And here now I'm going to have another division. I'm assigning it an ID, and this ID would be menu bar, and this menu bar I'm going to have a function here. This would be on click. We will use it by having some of the JavaScript code. So on click menu, and okay, now I'm going to have a division here, and I'm assigning it an ID, and this ID would be bar 1, and I'm going with a class, and this class would be bar. Okay, now I'm going to copy and paste it for a couple of times. Here this would be 2, and sorry, this would be 3. So we have our nav bar. Now I would like to go with the unordered list, and for that I'm going to have a UL, and I'm having an ID, and this ID would be nav. I'm assigning it a class, and this class would be on the nav. Now I'm going to have some list items. So for this, and I'm going to have a link within the list item. The links are not, I'm not linking them with anything, so they will be just blank links. And I'm going to copy and paste it for several times. So home, about, menu, and contact. And we didn't wrap it within our unordered list, so let's do this. And now we have done with our navbar. The markup is ready. We cannot see anything, I'm sure. Okay, I'm sorry, there is some problem in my recording, so that's why I have to stop it. But here we have the menu items. Okay, so let's move on and check what let's move on and see some other things. Let's go and style this. Okay, so first of all, here in our style .css we didn't had that menu, that navbar comment, but now I'm going to have it. So I'm saying navbar, end of navbar, and between these lines of code I'm going to have my code. First of all, my target is menu bar. I'm sorry, I had a menu bar, and I'm going to have a width for this. The width would be 50 pixels, height would be 10 pixels, margin would be 50 pixels, 10 pixels, then 10 pixels, not PC, 10 pixels, then 10 pixels, and then 20 pixels. Now I want to have a position for this, and the position would be fixed, and I want to show you something, but let me have this z index, and this would be 1, and later I'll explain you why I'm having this z index. And I would like to have a cursor, and my cursor would be pointer. Now I'm going to have my bar IDs, the bar class and the bar ID, and for this, okay, let me have a bar class, and I'm assigning it a background, orange. Now I have a border radius, which would be 10%, and transition 4 seconds. Now I'm going to have a bar 1 with a width of 40 pixels, height would be 10 pixels, translate y -4 pixels. Now let's move on and have a bar 2, and width for this bar 2 would be 40 pixels, height would be 10 pixels, and that's all for the bar 2. Now I'm going to work with the bar 3, and this bar 3, the width would be 40 pixels, height 10 pixels, and translate y and 4 pixels. Okay, now I would like to have another class that will be known as change class, and I'm going to use this change class in my JavaScript. So I'm just saying change, and then I'm going to have a bar class, I'm saying background would be white. Now I'm going to have my change dot bar 1, sorry, id bar 1, and this would be transform translate y 6 pixels, and I want to have a rotation here of z and 45 degrees. I'm going to have a bar 3 here again. Change id with bar 3. It would be transform and translate y and minus 15 pixels, and rotate z and not index, sorry, z and minus 45 degrees. Let me have a semicolon here, and now I would like to have an, just a minute, let me bring it here in the middle, and now I want to have another last class of mine, that is the change id, sorry, bar 2 and opacity 0. Now I'm going to select my nav elements, so nav list items and all the links from the list item, and text decoration would be none for them, and there should be an orange color, and the font size, oops, the font size would be 30 pixels. Text transform uppercase, and font weight bold. Now I want to have an hover over and hover class. When I hover over the links, there should be something. And what is that something will happen? Let's have a nav element li and hover over hover class, and then I'm going to have a color white, background orange, and I'm going to have some padding here. Padding left 10 pixels, and I want to have something else with my nav class. Nav and list items would be, the margin would be 20 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, and 20 pixels, and then padding top, this would be 10 pixels, and list style type none, and the last class for my nav would be display none. I'll show you what's going on with this display none. And now let me have a change button class, change btn, and this would be display block Let's save it. So we have our button, but nothing is happening for this. To make it functioning, to have some function with our button, let's start working with some of the JavaScript, or very little code, then it will work and you guys will understand. So move on to the editor. I have a main.js file, but I'm not going to use this main.js here. I am going to rename it. Let me rename it, because I'm going to use a function here, so I'm going to call it onClick menu.js. okay, so I have now onClick menu.js file, and I want to link this file within the body section of my HTML. Here I'm going to say script, and the source for this would be, okay, let's save it. It is linked, but we have to have a function here. I'm going to have a function here, NCTION function, and this function would be on click menu, and I'm not passing any sort of parameters between these parentheses, and I'm going to say document dot get element by ID. So get the element by ID from the document, from this index.html. What was the ID? The ID was a menu bar, not menu bar, it's menu bar. And I'm going to have a class list dot toggle function. I'm going to say the change class we have created in CSS. And now I want to have another document dot get element by ID document, and here I'm going to have a nav ID, and I'm saying class list, and then toggle function, and here I'm using my change btn class, so change btn, and I have saved it here. Let's move on. And you know that it is JavaScript, so it's refreshed, but let's refresh it once again, and nothing is happening. You know why? Let me show you. Here in main.css we had a z index. Remember the z index? What this z index is going to do, all the items are at the back of the header image, so its z index is going to bring them on front. And let me show you. When I click over it, you guys can see a nice menu is here, but there is some problem within the menu. There is some problem with the menu also. Let's go and set it what's going on. Okay, let's go and fix. Okay, I have checked, but I didn't see anything. Let's go and refresh and see that if is there any problem in the browser, because I think there is some problem within my browser. So later I will do this. I'll fix this problem of my browser, but it is working nicely. The hamburger menu is working nicely, and that padding left effect is also working nicely. So when we click over the hamburger menu, it is working. Okay, and it is minimizing, and that's all. So now we have the last section, that is gallery section, and we will start that gallery section. So we have done with our menu section also, navbar also. So now let's move on and start creating our gallery section. And for this I'm going to have a comments here, and I'm going to say end of gallery. And now in these line of comments I'm going to start writing the code for the gallery section. First of all, I would like to have a section here, and the section should be here. Section, and the ID, I want to assign an ID of gallery. Then I want to have a div, and within this div I would like to have a heading 2. I'm assigning it a class, and my class name is, class is title text, and the text title would be main cuisines, and let me wrap it within the div. Now I'm going to have another division, and I would like to let me have this division with the ID of gallery and gallery center, because I already have this here. So let me name it gallery center, and I would like to go with an article. I need to assign it a class of gallery item, and I want to have a link here. For the link I am going to go with in my images folder, and for this it will be a tomatoes.jpg, an image, and then I want to have an image within this href, and within this a element, anchor tag, and the source of my image would be same images, and the same image I want to go with, and I'm not using any alternative text here right now. So this is I have done with one article. Now I want to copy and paste it for several times, so I'm copying it. I've copied and pasted it for 8 times almost, and now with the first image is done, now I want to go with the second one. My second image would be image. You guys can use number or whatever the way you like, you can go with that. Mine is image, and the third one I want to go with the hero. My image name is hero1, and then I'm going to have an other type of image, which is intern food, and then again I want to have another same intern food here. Not with the intern food, let me go with the another one, which would be exploit tomatoes, and here, and let me check. So here let me say that I should go with an, I have an image known as Part-3. I want to go with this Part-3 image. And I'm looking where I mistook. Image and source images, and let me remove it. Let me get the code from here. And here I should let me write part 3. Okay. And what's next? Let's save it. Move on to the browser. And it is working, and very massive images we have. So no need to go for more. Let's go and style them. So here in our main.css, excuse me, in the main.css I should write comments, and is a gallery section, and then end of gallery section. Now here within these lines of comments, I'm going to style my gallery section. So for that, first of all, I would like to have an ID of gallery, and I'm using the padding of 40 pixels here, and the background should be white. Now I want to have a gallery item class where the background would be linear, gradient, and it would be RGBA 241, 161, and 13. And then I want to have another RGBA, and this would be other would be RGB, not RGBA here, and here I should go with RGB 255, sorry, 255, 165, and 0. Now I want to have a gallery item image, so gallery item image, and this displays a block width would be 100%, opacity would be 1, and transition I want to go with another opacity of 2 seconds ease. Now I want to have a gallery item and image hover, to have an hover effect. For this I want to go with the opacity 0.5. Now let me bring it here, and let's have some media queries here at media screen, and the minimum width would be min width 576 pixels. Gallery center, and display. I would like to display in a grid, and then grid template columns, and this would be one fraction and one fraction. Now I would like to have an other media query for the bigger screens, and at media, and here I would like to go with the minimum width would be 992 pixels. Here the gallery center, this would be grid template columns, and here I want to have a repeat function, so I'm saying repeat 4 and 1 fraction. Let's save it. Move on to the browser, and here we have our gallery, but it's not functioning right now. I want to have a Lightbox effect here, so I just right now when I click, it's just an image and nothing else. So to make it functioning, or to add the JavaScript functionalities, we have to go this magnific pop-up responsive jQuery Lightbox plugin. So here I already downloaded it for me, but you guys go to the GitHub link, download it from there, and here clone or download. So you guys go there and download this zip file. After downloading the zip file, first of all, let me tell you here from the documentation. Here they have mentioned that include these files. So I'm just going to copy this jQuery file from here. Okay, I'm copying it, and I'm going to paste this jQuery file here within my index.html section, and here I have just copied this jQuery file, jQuery link. Then that magnific whatever what I have told you to download from the GitHub, I already downloaded for me, and under the check it in your download folders, and under the distribution folder you guys will find some files where there will be a magnific popup.css file and jQuery magnific popup min.js file. Get these files from the download folder and copy them in your main folder of the website where you are creating this. Like mine is this healthy food, so I have here mine, and now in this folder I have a subfolder with the name of magnific. Now I'm going to add this magnific jQuery link, magnific popup.min.js link here. Let me show you in the body section. So here I'm saying script, and the source, here the source for me, this time I have a source magnific, and within this magnific I have this jQuery magnific popup min.min.js file, and here I have linked that file here in my body section, and now I'm going to add the CSS. So for that I'm going in my header section, the head section, and here within the head section I'm going to have a link, and this link is related to style sheet, and then I'm going to add the link, and the link is magnific, and within the magnific folder there is a link magnific-popup.css. Okay, now save it, and let's go and let's see. I'll show you that what had happened here. And a moment please. So now when I click, still I cannot see that light box effect, and for that light box effect what I have to do, I have created just a file within this magnific folder, magnific.js. So within this magnific.js, now what we have to do, let's go back to the magnific pop-up documentation, and here first of all I'm going to copy and paste this this code. We can write it, but I'm just copying and pasting it. This is what I have learned from my teacher, and I'm going to delete this code from here. And now let's go back, and here again if we scroll down, we have a format of images in this way, like we have several images, and then we use those images within the links, and then separate image source also. So we are going to use this code. I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to paste it within this. Here within the where it is written as parent container, the parent container in our case is, let me show you, in our case our parent container is this gallery center. Okay, this gallery center is the parent container of all our gallery items. So what we have to do, we have to remove this parent container, and we have to use the ID gallery center. Okay, let's save it, and then what we have to do to give it the gallery effect, we have to scroll down. We are not, and here in the options section there is a gallery enabled true. So we are going to copy this code and we are going to paste this code here. And we are going to remove this comma. Let's save it, move on to the browser, and let's refresh it. And when I click over the image, I mistook somewhere. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's check where I mistook. Yep, I didn't link this magnific.js to my index.html. So let's move on and first link this magnific.js here in the body section. And let me add this link here, script, source, and this time the source is again within the magnific, and this one is the I just need to restart my system. Let me restart and it's going to work. Okay, so just give me some time. Let me restart and we will check it. Okay guys, I am back. There was some problem in the system and in the editor also, so I fixed both of them, and now you guys can see that I haven't made any sort of changes. But if you guys want the code, you just let me know and I'll surely provide you the code. So here is the gallery we had just made, and it is working. Okay, there was the problem in the system, so you guys can see that the Lightbox is working nicely, and we have done. So there is only a footer section. Let's move on to the editor and start writing the footer section. My apologies for this problem of having a bad system behavior, but let's move on and start creating the footer section. I've created a very simple footer because I'm sitting for a long time and I'm very tired. In fact, I don't want to do this, but just just for the sake of completeness, actually I have to do this footer section. Okay, so I'm going to use the footer element, and for footer element I'm just assigning it a class of footer, and I would like to have a division. I'm assigning it a class of section center, and then section center, and then I'm going to, within this section center, I'm going to have a paragraph element. I'm assigning it a class, and this class name is text, and I have assigned it a class in a wrong way. Now it's okay. And within this I'm going to use the copyright sign, so ampersand copy semicolon, and I'm going to use a span element. Span, and here I'm writing food for health, and that's all. Let me save and let's move on to the style section. Okay, and here let's have a, of course this is our last section, but I'm just using a footer. And now I'm going to have a footer class here, and within this footer class I'm saying background. Background would be black, and the text alignment for this would be center, and then I'm going to have a footer text, and this will be text transform, upper case. Color of the text would be white because the background is black, and the font size for this, what I'm writing, font size for this would be 24 pixels. Margin top would be 20 pixels. Let's save it, move on to the browser, and let's check. Yep, we have a footer, but we cannot see the writing. Something had happened. Again, I don't think that there is anything wrong I have done, but it is my browser's mistake actually. A moment please, let me check. I really don't know what's going on, but hopefully it is working now, and yes it is. So I hope that you guys like this project. It is a fully responsive project on to all breakpoints. Let me show you once again what we have done so far. So we have a nice hamburger menu, which has a very nice and cool effect, at least for me. And when we click over it, it is nice. And let's move on to the responsiveness, and let's check that if it is working. And everything is working very well and nice. And if you guys can see, yep, I'm not using this. And our card section, and then we do have a gallery section, and everything is nicely stacked, and buttons are also, it's working, but because of the color of the images we cannot see the menu items. But this is what we have done so far. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, do hit the subscribe button and hit the like button also. In the next video of mine, I'm going to have a bootstrap project. So if you guys are interested in learning some bootstrap, do subscribe the channel. See you next time with an interesting and bootstrap innovative and creative video. See you next time. Hasta la vista and ciao ciao.